Good evening. This is Miss Standberry at the International Prolife Federation, and we have done two shows, the Talitha Funchess show, and I'd like to introduce Talitha Funchess. She is a community activist, and she's also host of the Talitha Funchess show. She's very active in a lot of the different social services, social service issues of mothers and children, and she's an advocate for all types of unjust causes in Chicago. So I want to introduce Ms. Talitha Funchess. Tonight she will be talking about why so many people are leaving the city of Chicago and state of Illinois. Hi Talitha, how are you?
Hello, Miss Ernestine. How you doing, and how are you doing out there in audience land? Thank you for watching the show tonight. How are we going to start off?
Let's go ahead.
Well, I guess we want to talk about tonight something that I have some concerns about, and I believe that as time go on, you have had some journalists speak a little bit about it, but not too much about it. And that is the concern of this great city, which I do love, in this state of Illinois, and how come so many people are leaving the state of Illinois. And I believe we are up to, some people say 200,000 African-American family, because I want to focus on the African-American family, because a lot of time when we leave, if you haven't paid attention, it's not long before major companies follow behind it. And you have to wonder and know that you have worth, because if we were not leaving, how come the recession and a lot of closing of business happened right around the time when a lot of African-American minority families left, to the tune of 200,000? Some people said it was 600,000, but I believe maybe that would have been collaboratively amongst other ethnic groups. But what kicked it out and started it, that people were beginning to be hush-hush about it, but through the census, it was brought out through the census that we had done the last 2 years ago or so. And it showed that many African-American families, by the hundreds of thousands, left the state of Illinois. I'm concerned because I do love this state, but we have a major issue where we have become the mockery of so many topics, you know, where many other states are looking at us laughing, and they think that we, especially in the United States, are part of a lot of hypocrisy. And it concerned me to talk about this subject, because it affects us on different levels, whether we know it or not, on a personal level and as a nation. And I wanted to know why, you know, so many people were leaving the state. And I believe it's because of, amongst many, even though I know there's a lot of great things I can say about the state of Illinois. Love the state of Illinois. And when you, sometimes you have to go to other states to see what they have over there, and then it won't be long before you'll be like, I can't wait till I get back home. Many of us have done that, to our surprise. But also we cannot ignore that other states, other countries are looking at us and making mockery, and many of them are saying that Chicago is the worst in the nation on a number of levels. And I think we need to talk about that. Why is so many African American families leaving the state? Is it because of
you know what, I want to interject here, and I think one of the main reasons why I'm glad my son left the state is because of the violence on the young black men, the continuous shooting. And, you know, when Spike Lee came and made the movie Chirac, well, it's very true, because if you're a black male, you got chances of just being shot just because you're walking down the street. Because my son was robbed right down from my house here where we're at now.
Oh, really?
Right at the corner, and they robbed him and took all of his money and shot twice up. So they let me know that they would say sparing his life, and I thanked them, because I didn't want no investigation after that, because they couldn't. They let me know he could have been dead. We could have killed him, but they did not. So I'm thankful. So when my son decided to go to New York for 2 shows, and all of a sudden he was blessed to get 2 jobs.
Okay.
Then he was blessed to get 4 shows.
Uh-huh.
Then he also was at the it was a concert he performed. So now he's living in New York, and do you know, I actually feel better about it because of this last incident, which put a lot of fear into my family. So I know some of the reasons why is because of the violence. Is you got too much gun violence here for no reason. Too much too much blacks killing blacks.
Yeah, and I want to know if anyone is okay to talk about it and not afraid to talk about it. Why is it that we are afraid to talk about the real issues? I know for a fact that the state of Illinois was the leader in manufacturing innovation. What happened? I believe also, to add to the violence, that there is a lot of lack of transparency, and even much to show you how the corruption affects us. Look at the way, in the manner that the lack of transparency, if you look at it very well and trace it, you'll see that it doesn't only stem in Chicago, but Chicago is the leader of the pack. And then you go to Springfield, and as Dick Simpson said himself, and I don't know, I believe you speak with Miss Marianne Judar, they have talked about that the corruption goes into Washington, to my surprise. And to be honest with you, as I look into, unfortunately, as I even file complaints at Washington, D.C. level, I'm beginning to believe that there is a lack of transparency, and it shows, because what your father do and what your leader do and what the supervisor does impacts on what your employees do. And if you notice that a number of things that you file complaints about or concerns about, there's a lack of transparency. You can find it in housing. You can find it in the school system. You can find it in government, in our elected politicians. You look at the fact that
when you say lack of transparency, define that.
I define lack of transparency is when you're not openly making it clear about something. For example, if you're doing an investigation and the person files an investigation and asks you to investigate wrongdoing or discrimination or anything concerning your rights, whether it be a violation of your rights, retaliation, harassment, it can even be found in the police department. In every level, if you really pay attention, and I know a lot of times you don't pay attention to this, but look at the lack of transparency in every level. You name any level. I just named school. It could be the police department. It can be our politicians. It can be even the employees that's hired. It show you how deep the corruption and lack of transparency affects you. It affects the quality of education, because if you're not clear about what is, let me give you an example. If I file a complaint like I've had concerning a number of injustice, and no one is following up with me, and then when they deal with my case, they don't give me case numbers, reference number, a name of who handling my case. They don't call you back. They don't give you a phone number. When they send you documents, they don't sign a signature. This is something that, if you pay attention, this is happening all over Illinois. I don't know if it's happening in other states, and I'm sure it's possible, but you see this, Tracy. If you call right now, if you call the White House, look at the way when they talk to you. Lack of transparency in anything. Paperwork. It's as if people have learned that, okay, if I don't want to be held accountable, and that goes along with it. I don't want to be held accountable. I won't give my name. I won't give you that. If you call, there was a time when we came up, you call. Everyone knew that you would say, hello, my name is such and such. But that doesn't happen today. So even people who have gotten the best of education is not clear and consistent. And I believe this is purposely done. This is systematic corruption. This is one form of a corruption that leads to lack of transparency, that leads to the breakdown of the quality of anything nowadays in education. If you don't have transparency in education, you will see the effects of it. If you don't have transparency in housing, you will see the fact that people are not being held accountable. So I don't know what happened, but I do know I'm concerned about that, because even in a number of cases that I'm asking to be looked at concerning my son, who is a minor child with disability, who someone tell me, how can it be that your child is, even if he left on his own, he's a disabled child. Okay, what grown up would find some type of normality about a child being taken out of their house, even if they left the house, and no one is questioning that? Today is me, but tomorrow it might be you. There's another concern that you're going to find. You're going to say, Ms. Funchess was the first one to talk about this. There is something, I got a call where someone said, you know, there was a number of things you were talking about, injustice, and we're looking into it. We're actually talking to some lawyers to bring some class action lawsuits. And I said, well, what is it? Because I talk about a number of issues that I have concern about. And they said, well, right now I can't talk to you about it until you sign some papers and bring the complaint. And I respect that, and I'm going to see what's going to happen, if it's just talk or is they going to do. But if you notice that nowadays it's hard to get a police report. I'm sorry, I'm going to be the first one to put it out there. I started noticing, I thought it was odd, but what made me pay attention is there was an accident that someone hit me and ran. Okay, and what happened was I got the license plate, and even though it was a temporary license plate, I went to the nearest police station and I reported the person couldn't find the plate. And I said, that's odd, but I wrote it down clearly. I seen it clearly. They said, well, we can't find it in the system. So I brushed it off. I said, okay, well, as long as I'm not really hurt, it startled me. But as the years went past, I noticed even, I can go back as far as 2008, 2007, 2008. I noticed that every time there was an incident and you call the police concerning something, it could be an accident or anything, they refused to give you a police report. And then it began to dawn on me, something is going on here. Yeah. There is something going on here. This is not a coincidence.
You're supposed to always even be able to get a non-emergency police report.
Yes, yes. So don't be surprised if this started coming out. Because, you know, I even contacted and I was talking to local newspapers about some concerns. Now, of course, if you're not the one that giving credit, let people, remember I told you, if you don't let people take the credit for it, they don't want to cover your story. But I'm a person that, you know, I told you I'm a person of faith, and I'm a firm believer that the Bible says your gift will make room for you. And I believe that if you got something deep down in you and you have a calling, and my calling is what I'm doing, and others as well, but I believe my calling is advocating, being an activist. And I think the Bible said your gift will make room for you. So I don't have to step on no one to get ahead. And I don't respect no one who does so. Step on others and they do it just for the camera, just for fame. I'm going to say this. I'm going to leave a legacy. Others can take the trophy. And if you get a trophy, that's fine. But that's something you take. And that's what's wrong now. There's a lot of taking and no giving. I want to leave a legacy. I want my kids to look at me as a role model. I want them to be able to say, you know, my mother spoke out against injustice and she paid a great price. And that leads me to talk about the price. A true activist is a public servant. I remember, and I thank you, Mr. Munir Muhammad, if you hear this. He was the first one that invited me to his show. And he said, Mrs. Funchess, I hate to almost introduce you as a advocate activist because, a lot of the advocate and activists are not even sometimes looked at in a positive way because so many of them feel like they sell their people out and that they're not truthful and they're doing it for their own political gain. Those that have known me have encouraged me to continue to do what I'm doing. They said, Miss Funchess is making a difference. And I know you sincere. And you know, Mr. Munir Muhammad and so many others do not have anybody on this show. I thank you, Mr. Munir Muhammad. You've seen something in me. And you taught me something. And you don't know this to this day, but I'm going to tell you. You told me don't bring anybody to your show. You said you might think some of the Negroes are true activists, but they not. Some of them are leeches. and you will soon find that out. And I want to let you know, Mr. Munir, there was some that just wanted to come because they wanted to leech, and I didn't know it, but it turned out later on, I found that out to be true. So I don't run with a particular organization. Miss Ernestine know that I've been an activist. I didn't wake up and just do this. I started doing this when I was 17. My motivation were my 4 children with special needs. And from there, I didn't even think anybody was paying attention. I did it from my heart. And I even not only did it for my children, I did it for the community. In the school, I've been asked, I sat on Housing Participant Council Board. I've given a lot of suggestions, and people have not given me the credit for it, but they try to take credit. Well, you know what? If that's what you feel you have to do to get ahead, that's fine. If that's what you have to do, because I believe my rewards will come when the time is, I shall have a great reward. And the thing about it, I'm not doing it for political gain or nothing. And I've been I've had a lot of supporters, but I've had some. If you look on Google, you would think that I was some type of bad person, because it talked about a video that was made in 2012 when my son was in a rap video. Well, you know what? If you read between the lines, I wish there would have been a tweet. I do know in journalism, you have to be so careful. You have to take an oath that you will be honest, you will be truthful, you will hold integrity. I don't think journalism is upholding that today. I would like to thank Miss Mary Mitchell, because Miss Mary Mitchell, even though I wish there could have been some tweaks in there, but you told me, look, people are going to judge, they're going to talk about you if you're doing right, or they're going to do it wrong. They may talk about me for covering this story. But I still want to thank you, even though I would have probably did some tweaks in there, but at the same time, you're right. People, if they are racist and they're biased and they're evil, they're gonna find something on you anyway. If you look on Google, I think let me show you the racism and the ugly and the evil that we are talking about. Someone put on there, and I don't know how to work the computer, and maybe God meant it to do that. I only know how to Google. But I would have tried to defend myself. I'm not used to that. I didn't come up in the era of the computer. Even the teachers was not being taught that. But you will see someone put remarks that don't even know me, using the word monkey and statements like nigglets in this country. Now, let me tell you, I approach things differently from other people. When I see evil and they show its face, they say if a person show you who they are, believe them. They know themselves better than them. And until we deal with racism and prejudice in this country, it's cowardly. And I believe because the reason why a lot of them don't want to deal with it is because then they would have to owe us reparation, and then they would have to apologize. And that is why my great president, Mr. Clinton, when he wanted to apologize, they stopped him quick, fast, in a hurry. And I imagine they told him, if you apologize and you offer an apology for slavery, then we would have to owe them. This country would be broke. So, you know, until we actually come off the hypocrisy and deal with race relation and the prejudice and ugly, and to believe me, at first that hurted me at first, but then it's good to take God where you at, because God showed me a bigger vision. You know, if I wasn't being effective in what I was saying and doing, I'm not associated again with any organization. I have flat-footed stood and just have God and my mouthpiece and my facts and my sincere heart, and people knew that. And they said, Miss Funchess, you know what? I really know you wanted to leave here, and I still do. I'm tired. Sometimes you get tired of the hypocrisy. You see that we have potential here. We are the envy, believe it or not, of probably a lot of nations. We were. Not now. We were. Because we were the leaders in innovation. Were we not?
I just want to interject this. You were speaking of Clinton, how great he is, but I never thought he was a great, but you have to put him down. Now, let me tell you something. Right now, the Haitians have on the internet. Let me tell you something. People in Haiti, the Haitians are out trying to let Americans know that him and Hillary has been down there stealing and have stole $6 billion from Haiti. The Haitians said both of them ought to be locked up. And see, the American news media, this is where I believe in transparency. is bad. And do you know, even on down to the American news media, nobody has covered those videos, and it's 4 now. They started in January. They continuously putting up videos because these people went to Haiti and stole that much money from Haitians, and I think such an atrocity for people to steal from Haiti. We should all remember Haiti. You know, we should always remember the Haitian people, and how the point is, you remember Haiti, and the fact is, you have the nerve to go steal money from Haiti's. You know, Haitian people are still starving and suffering, and they still haven't gotten Haiti right. But then you're going to go in there and capitalize and steal him and her. So these videos are on the internet, and I'm working with Yele Haley Foundation. I'm working with Recontre. That's a Haitian organization on KNTV to try to get the message out. So today, I put it out to a lot of different churches, T.D. Jakes, House of Hope, Joyce Myers, Creflo Dollar, to get people to know what's really going on with these people, because they should be locked up.
You went with the dagger, okay?
They should be. I'm about transparency. They should be locked up, because and even on down to I contacted Amy Goodman twice, and I've called New York.
And no answer.
Yeah, and they haven't even showed the videos. See, Amy Goodman is in New York, so they know about these videos. But I'm surprised even on down to Amy Goodman haven't done it.
I know you have a lot of
I have a lot of respect for Amy Goodman.
Yes, and you were the one that brought me to light about her. I mean, I started seeing her, but I didn't really know the history. But the thing about it is, I never really gave a lot of kudos to a lot of journalism here anyway, because I don't think we really, I like to look at international news. Mm-hmm. I like to look at international news. Still look at local news, but I really like to look at international news, because I think that it's part of propaganda. That is the political way. It's part of politics. Money, greed, follow the money, and you'll find what you want. But the thing about the reason why I said great, I use it in a metaphoric way. I'm not downing him, but the thing about it is, people,
I do. So I'm just letting you know I do.
People know the error of their ways, regardless of who they are. They know who, and I'm a person that believes this.
Well, let's talk about now. Let's not get on those people. They're not worth talking about. But anyway, to continue with. I just wanted to interject that, because I think people should know the truth, and stand. And evil is evil, regardless of how it is.
Yeah, and that's what makes.
But what I don't like about the news media. See, I am a journalist, and that was English my major, Roosevelt University, my school. I worked for the Defender at one time, and now I'm also going to be writing with the Chicago Street Journal. 2 articles. I'm going to have a column in that newspaper. So
watch it there. They may try.
I'm saying.
I respect.
See, I'm the kind of person believes in getting the truth out.
And I do too. I do. And that's what's going to make us different from everybody else.
Well, and stand.
But I believe in getting facts, but to back it up as well.
Yeah, and
I do. I really do.
I always have the facts to back up whatever I say. You know.
And if you got the facts, I'm for it. Put it out. I want to see it.
That's what I try to do right here.
Put it out.
That's why I had to stop this video, because of that.
Now, if you have the facts, honey, I really want to see it. And I think you should show the American people.
Yeah, I put it out.
Because I think they're tired of the hypocrisy, the bureaucracy, the red tape.
Lack of transparency.
And that's what we're
lack of transparency. Lack of transparency. Secrecy and not bringing out truth.
And I think that if we work on that, I believe that we could possibly see a change. But I think that all of that is tied into politics and corruption and everything, and that is one of the things that's hurting the state of Illinois and probably so many other places. I'm hoping and I'm praying that, and I heard, and I'm gonna tell you, someone I really admire, Roland Martin. I love to watch me some Roland Martin. I love the way he digs the facts out. He goes in and he speaks the truth, and he's very transparent, and that's what we need. We're missing journalism like that from Mr. Roland Martin. I admire you, Mr. Roland Martin. I've called your shows a couple times.
Tavis Smiley is also another good one.
Oh yeah, Tavis Smiley, I watch you a lot too as well. I love your shows as well. There are probably a few others, but it's not the quality of journalism that we are used to seeing. It has definitely fell out, and even from our own African Americans. I'm going to be honest with you.
And look at the Chicago Defender. It looks like I don't know what it looks like. And you know, now they have a female editor. And that paper there, I don't know what that looks like, indigo or something. You know, like I told Ron
Do you
Carter.
like indigo?
Yeah, I like indigo.
Okay,
but indigo is a free newspaper.
Yes.
And I said, for me to work for the Chicago Defenders and knew the scene stack people, and that was the first black newspaper.
Yes.
And so why has it dropped to nothing? You
yes.
know, well, it's because you have certain editors. It's like, to me, now the paper for everybody to watch, and I'm going to put this kudos to Ron Carter. I mean, Chicago Street Journal, you can get so much information from that paper, and he is free. So like I told him, I said, you know, you believe in speaking truth. So you can pick up a paper and you can tell. One thing about it, you can tell when you're picking up truth, and you can tell when you're picking up a paper that's being bought by the government, because most of them don't do a whole lot of advertising. But you know, if you pick up Chicago Street Journal and try to pick it up sometimes, he comes out once a month. You pick up that paper, you're going to find something out that you didn't know.
What about the newspaper, those that were homeless? I forget the name of it. It's $1.
Streetwise is mostly to help the homeless.
Okay. Do you like some of that?
Well, I you know, sometimes you would get it to give them $1, so it's for the street people. But Chicago Street Journal is giving you a whole lot.
And that's what we need to do. And I want to know, why is it that many of the local newspapers out there, and it's a lot of them, why won't they cover the stories that people want to know about that's actually happened? Why is it that people are afraid to address any matters going on in Illinois? You know, we gangster type. They gonna cover everybody news.
Ron Carter is not afraid to address those issues. Try picking up that paper sometime.
What's the name of it?
Chicago Street Journal.
Okay.
That's the greatest paper for the city of Chicago
He's
right now.
He's not afraid to...
he is not afraid.
He's very transparent.
Very transparent. He's not afraid to speak out and tell you what's going on in the city of Chicago. That's what I like about him, and speak truth. Yeah. He's better than the Chicago Defender, I can say that.
And these people are educated, supposedly. They come from Harvard. They come from all of these...
A lot of them being bought and paid by the people who want nothing to be said about nothing. So most of the time we don't really know nothing. Just like I did a video about Bill Cosby, and the point is, the video I did about Bill Cosby was when it was 10 or 13 women. So now 40 women that came out, and I still think I'm still supporting Bill Cosby, because for these 40 women to come out so late, if you coming out 10, 15 years after the fact, don't you know, to me, they're the ones that look stupid. You know, I know he was a See, Bill Cosby was a comedian before he was an actor. And they know Bill Cosby was doing something, but the point is, for all these 40 women to say, everybody was afraid, so now all of y'all, was nobody in that group able to come out before now? See, that's too mysterious.
Like that's I said, we wasn't there, so we don't know what happened.
But it ain't. To me, it's not a question about. See, here's what I'm trying to say. It's not a question about we were not there. It's just a question about 40 women. Okay, now out of all those 40 or 50 women, nobody came forward until they had to all come out together. That's just too mysterious and too foul. I still support Bill Cosby,
and I believe they have cut his some of his shows off.
And I try to tell people to join Crackle, because if you join Crackle, you can always pick up a lot of his old shows.
Well, let me ask you something. What do you think about when he made the statement to us when he was trying to educate us about how we talk and everything? Do you think that he's kind of... it's a form of hypocrisy, or do you think this is conspiracy?
No, I believe that everything that Bill Cosby did and said was all right. See, this is an attack on his personal sexual life, which got nothing to do with how you feel about an issue. You see what I'm saying? So these ladies were meeting with him for some kind of a hidden agendas anyway. And then the point is, I think it has nothing to do with him as a credible person. This is an attack on his sexuality and how he was.
His integrity.
And then on top of it, what I hate about it is that too many women have been raped and too many women have been molested and too many children. So for these people to come out and talk about how that they was drugged, see, they don't remember nothing. See, but you know what? You remember rape.
Yeah, you do.
You remember being molested.
For those
are painful things for people to go through,
right.
And for you to take it so lightly and to just bring out somebody. See, be thankful you don't remember nothing. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Because some people have to live with it.
You know what? Some people have to live with the real crime of serious rape, brutal, painful rape. Children have to grow up with it. Some children grow up with it in the household by their fathers and their uncles.
People that they know, most of it is done by someone they know.
Yeah, and they grow up living with that. These are too painful for these ladies to come out here.
And I believe a lot of us that we came for, we all would have some form of story. It may not be the same. Well, it's something I want to bring some attention to. What do you think about, because I think that if you're paying attention, do you think that there's a lot of African Americans seem like they're being indicted? And do you think that there is some justification for that?
I think African Americans have always really been indicted,
but a lot of well-known, supposedly.
I don't think it's new.
Even in Chicago, even in Illinois.
But see, to me, it's not new, sweetheart. Because to me, black people have always been going to jail more than anybody. They have always been convicted more than anybody. We know that because our penitentiaries are filled up with black men.
Right. I know that, but I'm talking about the levels. Isn't it not surprising to you that, look, let's give an example, Barbara Bennett. She was the light of a lot of controversy. Yeah. Who would have ever thought that something would be, and she was on the team of our mayor.
School board.
Okay, and I imagine she's been left all alone now. And you have to think back on these things and wonder, what are they thinking now? Because so many of us have experienced that we've been hurt by as citizens, and we have called upon our elected and so-called advocates, and then when they get indicted, you say, I can tell you alone, there are a number of people who I contacted about some injustices in the past, and even in the future, and they've been indicted. And I can't help, even as a Christian, I have to say, whatsoever a man soweth, that shall he reap it. And you may even know that some of these people are innocent. They're not, I'm going to be honest, I feel some kind of way about a number of people that I don't believe all the hype to it. But I believe that when you start playing with fire, you cannot go and play, as they say, never play with a monkey on his own territory. You know the territory. You don't play with a monkey on his own territory. So the thing about it is, when they want to come for you, they get enough what they want. I don't know, they say that all politicians are crooks because they know they have to have some on you for you to even be a politician nowadays. If they didn't. But
one thing the Bible said that's a true statement. It said, "Whatever is done in secrecy always come out
to the light."
Whatever is done.
And I have for many times over wondered when I seen people indicted. I often go back. I can tell you every case that I've sent a complaint to or written about, and that person might have not let me down, and these were some people of color. I'm not putting everything on white man. And here's the thing that you don't hear people say and talk about, and this is really gonna make people say, "Ooh, something to think about." Miss Funchess has something that she's saying that I never thought about it. But we can't get mad at no ethnic race who's doing what we should already know how to do. And I'm gonna give you an example. We get mad at the white man because he mobilized and they unify and they pool their money and they get together and they help one another. We should do that. We cannot, and I have to be honest, we can't get mad at no one because we haven't learned yet how to come together and unify. If you put all the great so-called leaders in a room together, somebody is going to fight about and argue about who's going to be the leader. So we're talking about transparency, and I just wanted to get your input on what do you think about so many of our so-called great leaders or advocates and elected officials being indicted, black people. What do you think is going on?
Well, I'm not surprised because you know, by me being a pro-life person, well, most of the time when I have always checked their credentials to see where they stand on life for the unborn. And anytime you can go to any politician and you can go through the website and find out if they're pro-life or pro-choice. Majority of people who are pro-choice, it's going to be something that comes out, and they're not really good politicians, because anytime, to me, when you cannot respect the life of the unborn and children in the womb, right there, you're going to have a defect right there. So, see, those kind of people, something always come out about them. You know, people who are for abortion, that's the greatest sin.
I know that's something very deep.
That's the greatest sin in America.
Yes.
And that's the greatest sin against God. And our churches and everything else are not standing up. Even on Sundays, they're doing it in Florida.
Yes, a lot of stuff.
So that, to me, when you have a lot of people, and the majority of them you'll find out are pro-choice. So people like that, something's gonna always see. You can see that none of it surprised me, because I go by whether you're pro-life or pro-choice.
Well,
pro-life people, you're gonna always feel, you're not gonna find too much on those kind of people. They're gonna always stand for something. Usually, a pro-life person who is for stopping abortion, believe me, not gonna be too much. I don't think I can name one that's pro-life that had any kind of problem or something that came out bad about them.
Well, let me just pause and say that you can reach us. My mailing address is P.O. Box 8620, Chicago, Illinois 60680. My name is Talitha Funchess. Funchess is my last name. Talitha, Talitha is my first name. And you can reach Miss Ernestine. She knows how to always reach me. But give your information.
Yeah. You can call my number 773-606-9264. That's the number to the International Pro-Life Federation. 9 to 5 from Mondays to Fridays.
And to reach the Talitha Funchess show.
And to reach Talitha, you can always call me. So,
I want to also.
So we've had a really good show today, and I'm so glad that we had this show. It's always nice to have it, and pretty soon we're gonna be taping at Can TV. Probably Can TV new place will open up like in November. So, you know, sometimes we're going to be in the studio.
I want to take the time and ask and appeal and ask Mrs. The Attorney General, the new Attorney General, that we all help to make sure she's in office. Some of us marched, some of us written in and called in for her. Miss Loretta Lynch, please take a look at some injustices that was sent by the PACs to you. Amnesty International got a lot of documents, and I noticed that if you can't be of help, and many of you have been nice, but if you can't be of help and you say that you can't help, but these are agencies that have non-for-profits. Many I can name on my finger and have some on my hands, and a number of people who I've contacted and have not reach back to me. I want you to take a look at my cases. I'm asking for justice.
Thank you.
DCFS. Thank you. Have a blessed day.
Thank you.
Miss Funchess. Bye-bye.
Now, you know, that's